Sup guys, it's your boy Justin with a new game review. This time I'm reviewing the 2011 third-person shooter slash hack and slash, which I would consider more of a character action game, but like seeing as you can't upgrade, there's no skill trees or upgrades. Well, there are upgrades in the game. I guess it's okay. You can call it a hack and slash. Yeah, today I'm reviewing the Warhammer 40k Space Marine video game, which came out in 2011. It was available for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. I'm reviewing the PS3 version of the game, and I did not play the multiplayer, which is multiplayer in this game. Obviously, I'm playing on an offline PS3, which I did play this game for the 360 when it came out, and I did play the multiplayer, and the multiplayer was great. You can either play as a Space Marine or a Chaos Space Marine and choose your chapter and Legion, which that's for the Chaos Space Marines. Their chapters are called Legions, right? because if you know the lore, you know why. Okay, so yeah, so today I'm reviewing the Space Marine video game, which I've said multiple times, this is my favorite Warhammer 40k video game, right? And I think if you're looking for a Warhammer 40k video game to play, this is a good one, right? Because it's fun and easy. Not easy. The game is definitely not easy, but the game does have like multiple difficulty settings where you could choose easy, normal, or hard. But if you want that gold trophy, you have to beat the game on hard. So the story for this game is about a forged world gets invaded by the greenskins orcs, right? And you see a communique from like command asking for assistance, right? And like it's funny, the text was funny because it's like, oh, should we do exterminatus, which means destroy the whole planet? And there's like, oh no, we can't because we have titans on the planet. Which are titans, for people who don't know, titans are like the giant robots of Warhammer 40k. They basically and it's funny, they show like a schematic and it's like, it looks like a fucking battle tech mecha or mech, right? Which the titans are huge, man. They're like basically the size of Godzilla, right? They're just basically giant walking robots with giant guns for arms. Right. And yeah, so because there's titans on the planet, we can't destroy those, right? So let's send the Space Marines to rescue to defeat the greenskins and rescue the people of the Forge world, right? And the main character of the game, who you play as, is Captain Titus, who is voiced by British voice actor Mark Strong, who you might know from a lot of Ridley Scott movies, and he was also in one of my favorite British comedy films, not in Bruges. What was the other one? The Guard. Right, yeah, which is a Neil MacDonald movie. That's actually an Irish film, I think, but whatever. So yeah, Captain Titus, and there's a great scene where the orcs have control of the planetary guns. So our Space Marines have no choice but to do an orbital drop on the planet using jump packs, which are the jet packs of the Warhammer 40k universe. Which you can't really fly with them, but you can jump very high, right? And like him and his veteran sergeant Sidonis, and a rookie Space Marine, Leandros, uh, go on the planet to ahead of the squad to disable the planetary guns, right? And you know, you have like Leandros is like, Captain, this goes against Codex Astartes. He's like, try to keep up, Leandros, because like obviously the Space Marines in this game are part of the Ultramarines chapter, which is probably the most famous space. When people think Space Marines, they think the Ultramarines, right? Because they're like the face of Warhammer 40k, right? Yeah, which for people who don't know what Space Marines are, they're Jeanette in the grim dark future, humanity's greatest weapon against the Xeno, which is aliens, the heretic, and the mutant is Space Marines, which are genetically engineered super soldiers, right? Powered with power armor, right? And bolter, which is the special guns they have, which have exploding bullets, right? Which when you start off the game, you start off with a bolt pistol and a fucking combat knife, which is like which are the shittiest weapons in the fucking game, especially the bolt pistol. The bolt pistol fucking sucks, man. Which there's like a chapter, there's like a achievement in the game or trophy if you can complete an entire chapter with the bolt pistol and the chainsword, which is the first melee weapon you get in the game after the combat knife. Which the chainsword is a really cool melee weapon, which the chainsword is a chainsaw sword, obviously, but it's also not great. Which, yeah, but like, yeah, as you play the game, you get several different different guns in the game and different melee weapons, and you even get upgrades to your gear. Like, you have like an energy shield, which is called Halo, right? That protects you from bullets, and you can even upgrade it with an iron halo, right? Which makes it even stronger. And it does reach. Once it goes down, you take damage, but it can recharge after a while. And this game has the thing, like, I think Doom probably took it from this game, where if you fight melee with an enemy, right? You can if you stun them, there'll be a glowing, like, a glowing icon over their head, which is the circle button, and that allows you to finish the enemy in a really cool, like, finisher, right? Which there's lots of blood and gore in the game, right? And if you do that, you can regenerate your health, but you have to be careful because enemies can still hit and attack you while you're doing finishers, right? So you got to be careful when you do that, right? But like other guns you have in the game, which I should mention, you're allowed to have 4 guns at a time, which are all you have your bolter, you have your pistol, which you can get like a plasma pistol, right? Which the pistols in the game have infinite ammo, but with the plasma pistol, it overheats because plasma weapons overheats, right? But yeah, you can have 4 guns at once, right? But you always have your pistol and your bolter, so you have to. So throughout the game, you can switch out the 2 other slots, which the guns in the game are. You have obviously your bolter, right, which is one of your main weapons, which is machine gun, which you can upgrade to the crack bolter, which has a drum magazine, and it does more damage, right? It's armor piercing. You have the stalker bolter, which is a sniper rifle, right? You have the plasma gun, right? Which is like an energy gun, right? You have the melta gun, which is short range, weapon that only has 10 shots, but it can basically instant kill people. You also have a las cannon, which basically is like a similar weapon to the meltagun, but it has a scope and you can long range with it, right? Which I should mention that you have a gauge in the bottom left corner of the screen, which is in the shape of a U, right? Which obviously stands for Ultramarines. Which that's your Fury gauge, which you can upgrade throughout the game at certain points, right? With purity seals, right? There'll be like drop pods at certain points of the game, and then they'll have like new weapons or purity seals that upgrades like your Fury gauge, or like you get the Iron Halo, right? And the Fury gauge is great because it regenerates your health and it makes you stronger. And it allows you to finish off enemies in like melee, or if you use it, you can use it while shooting, and it slows down time, right? It makes things go in slow motion, so it's kind of like the Deadeye gauge from Red Dead Redemption, right? So yeah, and there's also points in the game, right, where you have a jump pack and you can go around jumping and flying and killing enemies with a Thunder Hammer, which is the best melee weapon in the game. You also have a power axe, but the problem with the Thunder Hammer, right, is that it's a two-handed weapon, so you can the only guns you can use while wielding the Thunder Hammer is your bolter and your pistol, right? Which kind of sucks. That's the thing in the game, where there are certain points in the game where you're gonna want to you're gonna want to choose your loadout based on the situation. Which I forgot to mention, like there's also a grenade launcher in the game called the Vengeance Launcher, but I rarely used it. Right? Because it's like you shoot up like a bomb and then you have to like detonate it, which kind of sucks. But yeah, there's also heavy weapons in the game, like heavy bolters, auto cannons, right? What's it called? Plasma cannons, right? But they're big and heavy, and you can only use them until they run out of ammo, right? They're usually on turrets, but you can tear them off and carry them around, right? Which is pretty cool. The main story of the game is you have this war boss who's trying to take over the Forge world and loot it for all it's worth. While that's going on, you meet an Inquisitor. You meet an Inquisitor called Drogon, right? Who was on the planet developing a weapon that uses like warp energy, warp energy is basically the energy source that they use to travel, like light speed, but it's also where it takes energy from the chaos dimensions, right? And it turns out, and I love about like one thing I loved about the Warhammer 40k universe. Every time there's an Inquisitor, right, you can flip a coin, and chances are he's either going to be a good guy or a bad guy, right? And it's usually 50-50, right? Which I won't spoil if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but turns out shit goes wrong halfway through the game, which there are 5 acts in the game, 5 missions in the game, and there's like 18 chapters. They're divided up to 18 chapters. The first half of the game, you're fighting the orcs and their war boss, which is like a mecha orc, right? The cyborg orc. I forget his name. I think it was Grimskull or something. And the second half of the game, fucking chaos shows up, and you have like daemons, which are these fire like red demons with swords who can like fucking teleport around. You have like traitor legions and fucking chaos space marines, which are super fucking hard to kill, right? Because they basically they have the really tough armor, and obviously they have the air G shields, right? So like, and there's also like chaos psychers, and like the big bad of the game is a chaos space marine in fuck, what's it called, Terminator armor, called Nemiroff or whatever, I forget his name, who wants the device that Inquisitor Drogon created, so he can send his fleet through the warp to invade the galaxy, and also turn himself into a fucking Daemon Prince, right, which will make him an immortal, right, which he's the final boss of the game. So after the chapter 17 is the final boss fight in the game, and you have to fight waves of his enemies, right? Only for there to be a cutscene where it's basically quick time events where you're fighting him while falling through the sky, and you're like, you know, shooting at him, punching him, right? It's cutscenes, right? But it was pretty cool, right? So now I'm just gonna go with my likes and dislikes of the game, because I don't want to spoil the whole game. I like the action in the game. The shooting was good. There's lots of plus the multiplayer was good back in the day, right? When I played the multiplayer. I think now you could probably only play the multiplayer if you have the Windows version, right? But yeah, the shooting was good except for certain guns. The action was great. I liked the different weapons. I liked the overall, the graphics of the game looks good. The action of the game was very good. It very much reminded me of Gears of War, which there's even Gears of War like sound effects for the chapters if you ever played Gears of War. But it's not a cover shooter like Gears of War. That's a problem, where if you're getting shot out, there's no going behind cover. You're just going behind shit. There's no cover button, which sucks, right? But yeah, and I love the dialogue. Mark Strong did a very good performance in the game. And after reading the Ultramarines Omnibus, there's lots of references. Like, you can tell this game took a lot of inspiration from the Graham McNeil Ultramarines Omnibus, right? Which I heard from General Lotz, who reviewed this game, right? Which I don't know if his review is still up, but yeah, he did a great review for this game. Now I'm going to go with my dislikes. I'm not a huge fan of the autosave. I would have been nice if you could also manually save the game, right? That kind of sucked. You couldn't autosave. Like the bolt pistol was fucking it was fucking terrible. Worse, the handguns in general, the pistols are fucking useless in the game, to be honest. Unless you're using it on weak enemies, they're not even good for finishing off the Chaos Space Marines, right? And like my other main complaint of the game, and it's the thing where the game is short. This game is really short, which is why I'm not buying Space Marine 2. That, and I don't have a fucking PS5, right? But yeah, like that. If you were playing on an offline console, right? And you know, you don't have like, you know, you're playing an offline console, you don't have you don't have multiplayer. This game is a very short game. Like, I beat this game in like 4 days, less than 4 days actually. I think I started on Saturday, right? So I beat it within 3 days. It's a very short game. I doubt this game will take you longer than a week But if you can get this game for like, I would say like $20, it's totally worth it. Total fun game, and I highly recommend it. Right. So I'm giving the game an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. This is one of my favorite Warhammer 40k games, right? And especially since there's not a lot of them that aren't like strategy turn-based games. So that's it for this review, guys. My next review is probably going to be, we're going to just, it's probably be, I'm just going to do a poll, and we'll do like, you know, we're going to pick like there'll be 3 anime action RPGs that are super short, because I want to go out and play, I want to go and play my the Trails of games. So I'm really in the mood to play the Trails of games. I might in the future review more Warhammer 40k games, because I have a lot of them. I have the Space Hulk, I have the Space Hulk Tactics, I have Warhammer 40k Death Watch, right? I have the Deathwing game. I have a fucking Warhammer 40k game on the fucking DS, right? And like there's even like a bunch of them on the available for OS, right? Like the Mechanicus game. So I might review those, but it's a thing where if I do review more Warhammer 40k games, I want to see if I can beat them first, and then I'll do a review. I don't want to, because when it comes to Western strategy RPGs and tactic games, I fucking suck at them. So I want to see if I can play and beat those games before I promise to do any reviews, right? So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. Peace.